Hello and welcome to Kits and Wagers. We're talking Game Week 13. I am Adam Zdroik, soccer editor at RotoWire, joined by Chris Owen, writer at RotoWire. But first, we have a special treat for you. Are you looking for NFTs that are both fun and have actual utility? Try So Rare, the largest NFT-based fantasy game. You can collect, trade, and compete with officially licensed digital cards of soccer players from over 180 clubs on So Rare. That's SORARE.com. And here we go. We're talking Wednesday. We got Champions League currently going on. Liverpool, Chris's squad is currently in it with Porto. Chris, what do you got going on here?
Well, Adam, we picked a terrible time to record this podcast, as you noted. We didn't think ahead on this, and Liverpool are currently playing pretty reduced side. They've already won the group, so I'll be okay. I'll catch the highlights. But, yeah, doing well. Otherwise, it is Thanksgiving week. We're here on a Wednesday, which is pretty out of the ordinary for us. But still, I just brined a couple turkeys in preparation for tomorrow. And I made the unfortunate mistake. I didn't have any gloves. I just did old school, like hand-on turkey. And I got through the two turkeys, washed my hands like multiple times, and my hands still smell like turkey. So I'm just kind of sitting here enjoying, just like a nice turkey aroma throughout my hands. But yeah, so
Smoking birds and wagers.
what is one thing? Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
One thing I wanted to ask you is,
ahead.
what is one thing that you have to have on your Thanksgiving table this week?
I mean, I eat everything, but I love sweets, so I need any kind of pie, really. I'm gonna say apple pie is not my favorite, so any kind of pie other than apple pie is what I need.
Draw
I'll
no
take
bet,
that.
apple pie.
Yep, that's right.
I did forget, but this is Kits and Wagers, so I'm hearing a kit. My first ever Liverpool kit. They're playing in the Champions League right now, so I had to bring this one up. The 0405 Champions League winning Liverpool kit. So that's what I'm rolling with today. It's a special one to me. I think I bought it off whoever was selling kits back in the day on sale the following summer. So it's a classic for me. Yeah.
Must have been what Gold.com
Yeah,
was selling kits. Who knows?
exactly.
Who knows back then? Yeah, but so we have kits and wagers. We have smoking birds and wagers. We've had scarves and wagers. Today I'm going shirts and wagers. So I just wanted to pull out. I have an IX shirt, and I just wanted to pull it out, because they're playing today. I don't have an IX kit, but I have a shirt, so I'm gonna stretch the rules again here. But IX, they took down Besiktas 2-1 earlier, so I felt like, all right, Champions League week and just letting loose with my kit usage here.
I love it. Shirts and wagers. It's definitely still smoking birds and wagers this week too. So let's smoking chicken, or this week it's turkey. So, but it's that and wagers. Don't get twisted.
Definitely. So I don't even know if I want to talk about what happened this past weekend. It was really still upsetting, as you can tell if you're watching this on YouTube. I just can't I don't know. So in my article, I was in my article's been pretty solid this season. I just put it up. The thing is, I think I'm 43-30 on the season with my article, and my best bets are my article. Last week, weird, which both teams know on both teams to score. That bet lost in the first 10 minutes, and I don't know. That's about all I can say here. And as for Chris, as long as we still have you on, we've had some connection issues going on here, but you had West Ham to win at Wolves. Instead of West Ham winning, they didn't score and they lost.
Yeah, pretty tough outing from West Ham. I was riding the high of them beating Liverpool 3-2 and thinking that they looked really good. They were in the top four, and all of a sudden Wolves shows up and they can't get the job done. Lost 1-0, couldn't even get on the board for me. So we're back to maybe I need to focus more on smoking birds, but definitely my wagers last week needed a little bit of work. We did have some interesting ones that hit though. However, we did make a couple of mentions of some. I believe the solid score and team win hit for plus 110. So that's one I'm always going to keep an eye on. You know, if you're going to do anytime goal scoring, always keep an eye on that one. So, but yeah, tough one on the best bets for both of us.
Yeah, I think the positive there is, we had these 3 matches that we talked about, and I think all of them 1-0. We had Chelsea against Leicester, Liverpool against Arsenal, Manchester City against Everton. I don't even want to talk about Chelsea, but so every time I take Chelsea to win 0, to win in a shutout, they allow some stupid goal and my bet loses. Every other time, I think the only time they've allowed a goal in the past, I don't know, 2 months is the time I actually bet them. Otherwise, they're just keeping clean sheets. They kept a clean sheet. They just killed Juventus on Tuesday 4-0. Every other game, they win in a shutout, except when I bet them. So maybe I should just take them every week going forward here, and maybe they're just going to keep allowing goals, or maybe at some point I'm going to get one of these. What do you think?
I think, yeah, you're kind of like snake bit here. You have made that bet. And it's a good bet. You can, when you consider the fact that they've played, what is it, 11, 12 Premier League games and 5 Champions League games. They've conceded 5 goals total in 17 games. So
That's not a
4 in
lot.
the Premier League, and then that one against when they lost to Juve. So it's like you seem a little snake bit here. I like where you're at, but yeah, that's kind of tough when you have just gone and selected them where they haven't been able to do what you want them to.
Yeah, so the thing is, last week we agreed basically on everything. So this week we picked out some different matchups so we hopefully disagree on some of these outcomes here. So the first one we're looking at is Brighton home to Leeds, getting Brighton plus 105 favorite, Leeds plus 280. And I think this is just 2 teams coming off losses, 2 teams kind of iffy run lately. Brighton started the season well, and they've kind of fallen off a little bit, kind of struggling, similar to last season. Leeds have just been struggling most of the season. I don't think they're going to have Patrick Bamford again, and just 2 teams struggling, and it's a standalone game. So we wanted to look at that, but I don't know if there's any. I don't think there is any relevant injury news here. We're talking Wednesday, so we're getting ahead of all these press conferences. But what are your initial thoughts on this one?
Initial thoughts: both teams struggling. Both teams. I mean, Brighton's a little bit better defensively, so I can see why they're favored. They're definitely a better team. But I thought it was interesting to see Rafinha at plus 250 as anytime goal scoring odds. He's leading Leeds, with I think 5 goals. No one else has even found the back of the net for them more than one time in the Premier League. So that was the first initial thought. And then besides that, I think this is a game that's going to be tough. I honestly think Leeds can go and they can win this one.
Yeah, I think either one of these is going to be. This is a game where it's going to be like 1-0, 2-0 kind of thing. Like if Leeds get an early goal, Brighton have had trouble scoring all season. I think even though Leeds' back line has struggled, it's not a given that Brighton are going to score. I personally I wrote about it, just no on both teams to score. And that, just like what I said, you're getting, I think it's plus 110 on that, but it's just a weird, maybe not a weird matchup, but you got the weak Leeds back line, the weak Brighton attack, those 2 things going against each other. Maybe no goals there. And then Leeds without Bamford. Rafinha is their best chance to score, like you said. Plus 250 is pretty good in that spot. And then Brighton have been iffy here a little bit lately. Just back at last season, so Brighton won both these matchups 1-0, 2-0. Bamford started in both those games, so that's kind of where I was looking at. And I think it's going to be lower scoring, and I like that. Like that bet there with knowing both teams have scored. Do you have preference on what kind of bet? Looking at Leeds win for what, plus 280 here?
Yeah, you can get Leeds. I think the draw no bet was plus 160. So a little bit safer play potentially there. I will say that I don't, I just like earlier in the season, I was taking Leeds, their over goals, but like, I mean, they rarely get, there's a rarely a shutout in their games. I think they've been shut out a couple times, maybe against Southampton earlier in the season, Watford. But like, other than that, 2-1, 1-1, 2-1, 1-1 in their last four. So, there has been goals from both teams in each of their past four matches, so I think that's something to consider. Whereas, like, I honestly think there could be a couple goals despite some of the attacks, at least a 1-1 end result.
Yeah, that's definitely uh, something that goes against what I was saying, but I just think it's kind of a matchup thing. Just like Brighton, in the right matchup, they like to hold on to the ball a little bit more, but that's kind of what Leeds want to do. And I mean, I was looking at those games last season. So Leeds, they won the possession battle both those games. Maybe there's somewhat of a game script there because Brighton won both of them, but I think both teams want to hold on to the ball a little bit. And yeah, there's a chance, both teams score, but I don't know. I just
Yeah,
like Brighton. Like they're more of a defensive focused team. I think they want to get back to, playing like that. And they've allowed multiple goals in a lot of their recent matches. So I think Graham Potter, he's going to want to get back to those roots of keeping teams at bay, and hopefully that hits for me. But you're going the opposite route, so hopefully
I'm
that
gonna go
doesn't
the
hit
opposite
for you.
route. If Leeds have scored a goal in, I think, what is it, nine of 12 matches in the Premier League. They were shut out by Liverpool when they were playing a man down. They were shut out by a pretty solid Southampton back line, and then they were also shut out. I think earlier in the season they were shut out by somebody else. But yeah, those are two instances where they you know they've been able to score in each match, and then the couple matches, the Southampton, Liverpool, both pretty solid defensively.
I will say again, they didn't score against Brighton in 2 matches last season. I'll say it. I'll keep saying it.
Good
All
to
right.
disagree
So
on something.
speaking of, I guess not speaking of these teams. No, none of these teams played last week. So Leicester City home against Watford. I'm running behind here on the screen on YouTube, but Leicester City, as expected, they are the home favorite. It's a busy schedule on Sunday. I'm seeing incredible minus 160 odds for Leicester to win. Watford plus 450, coming off the 4-1 win against Manchester United. Uh, both teams a score minus 150, over 2.5 goals, minus 150 ish. Over 3.5 goals plus 175. I mean, so it looks like there's going to be goals, and apparently they're coming from Leicester. Do you agree with those odds?
What Leicester's getting minus one. Do you say 150 to
160.
win
Yep.
it? Yeah, minus 160. I don't agree with that. Leicester, I mean, they haven't looked that good. And Watford, as we saw last weekend, helped usher Ole out of Manchester United. They've been able to score goals, so I don't necessarily disagree with those odds. I think they're kind of long for Watford, especially when they're looking at plus 450. Take a long shot there on them to win. I don't know, but yeah, I don't particularly agree with these odds. Whereas I think they could be a little bit tighter.
Yeah, I just think it's purely Watford disrespect, and I'm just gonna go right out and say it. The odds makers are disrespectful to Watford right now, and I don't know why. Leicester City, they don't have Yuri Tielemans, and that's the main thing we mentioned last week is like they don't have Yuri Tielemans. They're going against Chelsea, and then they were dominated. Like they barely had the ball. They couldn't do anything, and like they still don't have him. Watford. All right, I guess the thing I've been harping on is that Watford actually haven't been playing that bad. So if you look at since Claudio, okay, so they're 16th in the table. They're even with Brentford, Aston Villa, 13 points. They're actually 2 points above Leeds. But Okay, so the first match under Ranieri, they lost 5-0 to Liverpool. I throw that game away because, those guys had a couple days with Ranieri. It was over their national break, whatever. Uh, Following that, they beat Everton 5-2. After that, they lost against both Southampton and Arsenal, but if you saw those matches, they were pretty fluky goals. One of them was just Shea Adams early in the first half, just, I don't know, 20 yards out, just out of nothing, put it in the back of the net. And then Arsenal, they controlled that match a little more. And then last week, like Watford outlaid Manchester United aren't 4-1 against Manchester United is pretty relevant, yet you can still get like Watford +1 at like -130 odds. Even in that situation, Leicester win 2-1, 3-2. Like you're think Watford can still get from this match. Yeah, still having these connection issues. You hear me, Chris?
A little bit here and there. Yeah, is it
I just went on a 5-minute discussion of why I liked Watford. So if you want to go off of that,
okay? Good. Yeah, if you mess with a bully, you get the Hornets. But yeah, I think that
yes.
Watford definitely getting some disrespect. They've scored a few goals. They've beaten some quality opponents when you consider Manchester United and Everton. And yeah, I think the plus 450 is long enough where I'd be like, throw a couple there on it. But yeah, I don't expect Leicester City to run away with this one by any means. They haven't been particularly good. They got shut out by Arsenal and Chelsea in their last two matches, and then they drew a Leeds United team we just talked about, who hasn't been particularly good this season either. So they're not in great form. They have been winning I guess they've been doing okay in the Europa League, but they are going to be coming off a short week where they play tomorrow at home at least. So they're not traveling from Russia to England, but still a short week. Three matches in about 7 days. That's pretty tough for them. Whereas I think Watford, coming off a big result, getting a full week of rest, could come away with a draw or even a win.
Yeah, I guess I would maybe wait a little bit. Ismaila Sarr came off injured last weekend. I'm not sure what his status is. So I'd look at the or doesn't play for he's their most important player. So if Sarr's not playing, I would not bet Watford, even though I just spent all the time talking about him. So the next match here is, yeah, it's the biggest match of the weekend, I'd say. So Chelsea are home to Manchester United, and they have the odds are almost similar, almost the exact to the Leicester Watford match we were just talking about. So Chelsea are -170 to win, Manchester United +480, and I mean, we're talking about Chelsea's dominant defense there, but if you look at the over unders, that's the main reason why the over 2.5 goals -116. So it's kind of expected to be in that 2 to 3 goal range, 2-0 Chelsea, 2-1 Chelsea kind of thing. So the question here is we got Michael Carrick running the show at Manchester United. Do you think he's providing anything different? Like they just beat Villarreal on Tuesday, but like they didn't play that well. I wouldn't say it was overly well against the defensive Villarreal side, but
Yeah,
yeah,
Chelsea are. Let's start with Chelsea are a much better side than Villarreal Real are. That's one thing to start with here. Um, I think Chelsea. I mentioned the 5 goals in 17 games that they've conceded. That's just particularly impressive, especially when you consider Manchester United are not that great in attack. They pretty much have depended on Cristiano Ronaldo to pull them out of a lot of games, whether it be in the Premier League or the Champions League. I think I think that just despite getting the new manager bump, at least in getting a result on Tuesday, I just don't think that they can go to Chelsea and get a result like they did earlier in the week.
yeah. So last season, both these matchups were 0-0, which is pretty incredible. Uh, only one of them was with Tuchel, and that was February. So it was kind of early in Tuchel's tenure. Uh, I'm not. That might have been one of his first matches with Chelsea. I'm not entirely sure, but so I do think it will. I don't know. I do think I do think it will be lower scoring, just because of the way Chelsea play. I'm not convinced, Ronaldo is going to get that goal in this match. I mean, they started Donny van de Beek at attacking midfield on Tuesday. I assume Bruno Fernandes is going to come back into the starting 11. Jadon Sancho started the last couple matches. Like I guess if anything, the big thing with Chelsea, so Conte went off and Ben Chilwell went off Tuesday with knee injuries, and it doesn't look like either one are going to start. So Chelsea are playing well, but their best midfielder, their best, one of the best wing back, left back in the league, Chilwell, doesn't look like those guys are going to play. So maybe that allows Manchester United to be a little more competitive, but I don't know. Combine that with Lukaku probably not ready to start. I just don't believe in Manchester United right now with the way they're playing. Hey, maybe they'll get the upset, but I'll take Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, given their current form, no matter who's injured, really.
Yeah, that's fair. If you do think Manchester United can get the new manager bump like they got on Tuesday, you can get Manchester United at plus 330 for a draw, no bet. And then if you think that Cristiano Ronaldo is going to continue to bail them out, his anytime goal scoring odds are plus 230. So a couple things to consider if you are in opposition to what Adam and I are saying about Chelsea just being a superior side.
Are we calling Michael Carrick a new manager, though? He is the caretaker manager, to be correct.
Oh man, sorry. Yeah, the interim caretaker, usher manager.
I'm pretty sure that's what the team has been tweeting. Their caretaker manager. That's what Carrick is.
I love that. You get a new boss in your job. Yeah, it's my new caretaker.
Hey, I don't think he cares. Heck,
Yeah,
I mean, I guess the main thing is that Carrick's running the same formation that Ole was running. So I don't know, like changing a few guys in the team. I don't know how much that's gonna change. Maybe these guys are more motivated now playing under Carrick. I don't know. Like we just saw with Barcelona, it's like, oh, Xavi's in there. All these guys are motivated. They want to play for this guy, but they're favored against Benfica. They needed a win, and they couldn't score at home against them on Tuesday. So it's just like kind of the same situation. Like these teams, they're not playing well just because they get these big teams, I guess you want to say. They still have all this pressure, and it's not automatic that they're just going to come around and be awesome. Like this isn't Aston Villa we're talking about. This isn't Steven Gerrard. Like they're going to be awesome because Steven Gerrard's their manager. This is a different situation.
that's a good segue into my best bet for this week.
There you go. Go for it.
All right, best bet this week. Aston Villa coming off a nice little victory last weekend. Stevie Gerrard's first game in charge. They came away 2-0. They are back this week. They have a decent matchup against Crystal Palace, who was it Brentford 3-3 last weekend. Crystal Palace
Burnley.
currently, yeah, yep. So Crystal Palace currently leading the league with 7 draws in 12 matches. Kind of interesting fact there. But I think if Aston Villa can do kind of what they did last weekend and shore up their back line, they have enough firepower up front that they can get the job done here and beat Crystal Palace. It was a big boost to see Danny Ings back in the lineup, I think. And Ali Watkins kind of played less. It was like less of like a tandem up there, and I thought he played a little bit more on the wing, so that was kind of interesting. But enough of that. Let's get to my best bet. My best bet is that Aston Villa money line plus 240. I like them to win this away at Crystal Palace. And then if you are scared of that, Aston Villa draw no bet is plus 140. So those are my two best bets right now, and I think they can get that done. So first my bottom line best bet, Aston Villa plus 240.
All right, I'm in the show. I think I'm in the show. We had a mix up here.
I'm
Curious, can
s-
you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. I had one screen leave, and then my other when rejoined, my screen was still in the conversation. So okay, all right, we're back. So I do like your bet with Aston Villa. Um, I don't know, Crystal Palace. They've been playing well, but they have some defensive issues, and I think that's going to be the main thing that pops up in this match, just with Ings, Watkins. You mentioned that. I believe Buendia is playing on the other wing, opposite of Watkins. I think 4-3-3, pretty potent attack. I think this one's going to have some goals, just like that last Crystal Palace match. I know Villa, they got the clean sheet in their first match under Gerrard, but I think that was just a result. I mean, if you score goals, but I like the over in that. But yeah, I'll take your draw there and
Thank you.
get here. Let me here. Well, Liverpool have been the most probably maybe outside of the Brentford, the West Ham match. It's been the most predictable matchups. And Southampton under 3.5. And then again, Chris has draw no bet of Aston Villa pick 'em. He's getting that at plus 150. So we're kind of taking a little different routes there in terms of odds. But again, sorry for the connection issues this week, but you can find me on Twitter at RotoZdroik. Chris is at CHROwen8 on Twitter. Please like and subscribe on YouTube or through podcast wherever you're listening. Again, rotowire.com/soccer trial if you want a trial to get all our stuff and pretty much everything at RotoWire. But thanks for listening. This is game week 13 of Kits and Wagers, and thanks to So Rare for sponsoring. We're going to see everyone next week, hopefully with better connection issues. Also, we got, as a reminder, there's going to be midweek matches next week in Premier League. So that's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday matches. So we're going to be coming a little earlier to you next week. But again, thanks for watching. This is Kits and Wagers.